So we are back from our break with Kelsey. I did want to go ahead and continue about your backstory and where you came from. So, as a child, what was your relationship like with your parents?
Oh goodness. So my real biological dad, he left before I could really remember him. He like popped up here and there every once in a while, but I think I've seen him like one or two times that I can remember my whole life. And then he passed away right when I turned 18. And then my mom, her parents, so my maternal grandparents raised me, and my mom was in and out of jail, in and out of prison, rehab, the whole nine. So we never really lived with her or consistently. But yeah, it was rough. It was a rough childhood, but my grandparents did the very best they could. My grandpa drove a taxi, and my grandma stayed at home with us. So we were not well off by any means, but they made sure that we had clothes and food on the table and a roof over our heads. So yeah, it was my relationship with my mom though. I think my family was so disappointed in her for going down this, path of addiction, because my grandparents didn't suffer from addiction. They didn't, my mom lost everything, and they never seen that. So they didn't, I think it's that they just didn't understand it. So they would talk really badly about her. And I was a little girl, and I can like vividly remember being at the dinner table, and then my grandparents saying like, well, Lynn's on another mission. And that's what they would call it when she would go out on a binge. And
Mm,
I just remember them talking so badly about her. And me, I was so tenderhearted and so sensitive. And I felt that like nobody loved my mom, and like nobody cared about her. So it made me care about her even more and love her through all these flaws. And so once she got out of prison and, really stayed out for good, I was 12 years old. And, I was entering in those like, preteen years, teenager years. And we got really, really close. But it was only close when she was around, which, like I said, wasn't
mm,
consistent. So, the second I was old enough to like really try drugs and do drugs, I was like, 13 was when I started like with the gateway drugs, smoking pot, pills, stuff like that. And then once I was like 16, 17, I was able to drive. That's when I moved into the harder drugs. And I went to my mom, like, hey mom, look, I'm doing drugs now. You can't tell me nothing. But it
wow.
was that really bonded us. Sadly, like looking back as a mom myself, I like cannot even believe this, but it's just the truth. That's what bonded us, and we became really close over our shared drug use. And
Wow.
our relationship, I would say, actually became a relationship. We were hanging out all the time. You know, in my head, I felt like she was being a mother, but as a mother myself, that's not what a mother does. Like I know that now, but so yeah, my relationship with my mom was it was very different. It wasn't until she got sober, then I got sober, 15 years later, that we really had that mother daughter, a healthy mother daughter relationship.
Yeah, but you just probably desired it at all means.
All the yes,
It didn't
desperately,
matter. Yeah, no, I totally
desperately.
get that. Do you feel like your childhood and your upbringing impacted your decisions later on in life?
100%. And I hate to even say that because a lot of people, and especially my mom in particular, she she it's hard because like she feels like I'm placing the blame on her, and I'm not. I was still a child, but I was old enough to know and be aware of the decisions I was making. But I 100% went that route with the intention of like, this is going to bring me and my mom close. You know what I mean? And it did. Like, it really did. It's not like I thought that, but it didn't work. And so I just quit. Like, no, I had that intention of, I'm going to do these drugs and I hope I like them because then my mom will want to hang out with me. And that's exactly how it happened, because once we both started using, she was using my car, and, like she could use me at that point. You know what I mean? Like I was actually in high school, but I had a job. So like I was the one buying the drugs, and I was the one giving her the ride to and from. So like I had something for her at that point.
Mm,
And that's like a lot of what it is in addiction. You don't have friends in addiction. You have
no.
people that you use and they use you back, and you're okay with it because you don't have it, what's your other alternative? So yeah, I would definitely say that my childhood and upbringing had a huge impact on the way that I went in life. I often wonder, if I was raised where addiction was never even like a thought or a mention, if I would have went a separate route. But it was all I knew because it was all that was around. When I was
Mm-hmm.
around people that didn't do drugs, didn't cuss, didn't smoke cigarettes like a freight train, like, when I was around like I call them normal people, but when I was
Yeah.
around people that didn't do that stuff, I felt so uncomfortable. I felt like, oh my gosh, this is so weird. Like, because it was
Yeah.
all I was used to.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. And I know you said that you have a sister, right?
I
You have
do,
a
yeah.
sister. Okay. So she kind of has going through the same thing, same
She
kind of
is,
route.
yep, she is. I actually am raising her youngest daughter, Paisley. I'm sure you've seen her all